Hey class, what's going on? My name's Alex and I'm doing my terrorist profile presentation. And I'm gonna be doing it on the terrorist organization Boko Haram. Um, first like to start by saying I apologize if I mispronounce any words throughout this presentation. Start with the history of Boko Haram. Boko Haram was, or officially known as Jama'at al-As-Sana Da'wa wal Jihad, was founded by a man named Muhammad Yusuf in a city of Maiduguri, Borno, Nigeria, in the year 2002. Maiduguri is the capital and largest city of Borno State, and is located in northeastern Nigeria. Boko Haram loosely translates to Western education is forbidden. Now let's learn about Muhammad Yusuf. Muhammad Yusuf was born on January 29th, 1970 in Yobe State, Nigeria. Yusuf grew up in his hometown. However, as he grew older, he started to study Islam more and became radicalized. After founding Boko Haram in 2002, he was finally caught in July of 2009, where he was executed by Nigerian police. But later in the presentation, I'll go more into like the leaders of Boko Haram. It is stated that he had 4 wives and 12 children, one of which named Abul Musab al-Barnawi. And it is actually rumored that he has joined Boko Haram. And now we're going to get into the deadly attacks / events. Boko Haram has reportedly been responsible for the death of thousands of people. Many of their attacks have been targeted towards police, military, government officials / buildings, or towards young men and women. And the reason that they attack a lot of young men or women is because for the young men, they like to capture them and recruit them to join Boko Haram. And for the women, it's real messed up, but they like to either sell them off or use them as pawns to get their members back who are locked up in prison. Some of their most notable attacks are Bauchi prison break, Kunduga mosque shooting, boarding school massacre, and Chibok kidnapping. And I'll go into more about like the kidnappings and later in the presentation. Now let's start with the Bauchi prison break. The Bauchi prison break was an attack on the federal prison in the city of Bauchi on September 7th, 2010. The reason that Boko Haram specifically chose to attack this prison was because there was believed to be over 100 prisoners who were affiliated with them. So in simpler terms, they are freeing more people who are part of the terrorist organization. The attack took place with 50 armed gunmen. It is stated that 721 prisoners escaped out of the 759 prisoners who were being held in the prison, with about 150 being part of Boko Haram. So as I stated earlier, they were just trying to, this was after Yusuf had been executed. So the new leader was trying to kind of reset and regather all his troops. So he didn't think, he found no better way than to just break into the prison and free them. Now let's get into the Kunduga mosque shooting. There's not many details about this, but it's just a mass shooting that took place in a mosque in northeast Nigeria in a town called Kunduga on August 11th, 2013. It is stated that the people were praying at the mosque when Boko Haram had opened fire. 44 people were killed with an additional 22 injured. So next we're going into the boarding school massacre. On February 25th, 2014, Boko Haram was found to be responsible for the murder of 59 boys at a federal government college in Buniyadi, Yobe. The boys who attended this school were between the ages of 11 to 18. After the massacre, Boko Haram also burned down all 24 of the college's buildings, resulting in even more casualties. This attack was seen as especially deadly because of how cruel it was done. Boko Haram reportedly got into the college dorms while they were sleeping and threw smoke grenades everywhere so that they couldn't see. And then they started firing at basically anything. And they were just killing as many boys as they could. And then when some of the boys realized what was happening and they tried to climb out the windows, they were met with more members of the more members of Boko Haram who shot them down. There are articles being described saying that it was just like a massacre. They were just coming out the window. It was like it was terrible, and they were coming out the windows just being met with more gunfire. And at the end, Boko Haram burned down all the buildings, resulting in even more casualties for the boys who were burned alive. So for the boys that didn't escape and chose to hide, the buildings ended up being burned down anyway, so they were just burned alive. And now we're getting into the Chibok schoolgirls kidnapping, and this was a case that was probably the most famous case for Boko Haram, as this case specifically got not just national news coverage, but media, but like world media coverage, as a lot of countries were talking about this case. So this attack took place on April 14th through the morning of April 15th, 2014, in which 276 women students were kidnapped by Boko Haram. The women were reportedly from the age 16 to 18 and were students at the government girls secondary school located in the town of Chibok, Borno State, Nigeria. The women who were kidnapped were also majority Christian and were forced to convert to Islam. This case of kidnapping garnered the most attention from the rest of the world. After the kidnapping, it is stated that 57 of the women were able to escape by jumping out of the truck that they were being transported on. It is believed that these women were being used as negotiation pawns, as I stated earlier, in order to get some organization higher-ups out of prison. Over 100 of the Chibok girls have been released or escaped, but there's still many more missing. It is speculated that some of them have either been sold off or are no longer alive. And based off of one of the women that were able to be freed, she says there's at least 6 of the women that were killed, unfortunately. Now let's go on to why this case got so much media coverage, and that's because of Michelle Obama, our former first lady. The Chibok schoolgirl kidnapping became a big part of the national media, especially in the United States. This is all because of the former first lady, Michelle Obama. Michelle heard the story and she contemplated on if she should say something, knowing the amount of power she has, and questioning if she would make the question worse. However, she knew she had to do something to bring this to light, and that was when she took to Twitter to send this tweet out. And I quote: "Our prayers are with the missing Nigerian girls and their families. It's time to hashtag bring back our girls." End quote. Along with the picture of her holding this sign that says hashtag bring back our girls. And there's actually a really good article. Let's see. There's a really good article on Vanity Fair that I found when I was doing this presentation. And it's titled, "I Want to Do This, How Michelle Obama Joined a Global Campaign to Bring Back Our Girls." And it really goes in details about how Michelle was having a really hard time the morning when she heard of the kidnappings, of whether or not she should even get involved, because she knew that once she hit that tweet button, there's no taking it back, because as everyone knows, the internet is forever. So once that tweet was on the internet, it was completely out of the control of her hands, and she didn't know if by sending the tweet would it do more harm or would it do more good. So, but she knew she had to do something because this was not getting as much attention as it needed to be. And some say Michelle was a big reason for why a lot of the women were able to be freed, because she was able to bring so much attention to it. And now we're going to go into the beliefs, goals, and motives. It is stated that Boko Haram disapproves of Westernization, as they believe that is the reason for the corruption in Nigeria. They believe that the West is responsible for the economic problems, the religious problems, and a bunch of other problems in Nigeria, which is why they wanted to convert Nigeria to Islamic State. Also, it is believed that they do not allow for any readings / books other than the Quran. Members are said to often lack education, and that's why they end up joining Boko Haram, because they just don't know. It's rumored that they don't believe in evolution, like human evolution, and that's why sorry, that's why they don't really want any other books to be brought into their world, because they don't like any of that stuff, any Western education. And continuing with the beliefs, goals, and motives, Boko Haram also believes that politics in northern Nigeria were seized by a group of corrupt false Muslims. So they wanted to wage war against the Federal Republic of Nigeria to create a pure Islamic state ruled by Sharia law. In Arabic, Sharia translates to the clear, well-trodden path to water. Sharia acts as a code for living that all Muslims must adhere to, including prayer, fasting, and donations to the poor. And now we're getting into the leadership in Boko Haram. There have been 4 leaders since the founding of Boko Haram. We already touched a little bit on Muhammad Yusuf. As I said, he was the founder, and he was executed by the Nigerian police after being captured in 2009. He ruled from 2002 to 2009, so 7 years. After Yusuf, there was another man named Abu Muhammad Abu Bakr al-Sheikhawi, and he ruled from 2009 to 2021, so it's really recent. And he was the one that launched the majority of these attacks. So he launched the prison break attack, he launched the Chibok schoolgirls kidnapping, and he took credit for that. But he committed suicide while wearing an explosive vest, as well as killing a senior ISWAP frontline commander. So since the death of the most recent leader, there has been no official leader announced yet at this time, but it is believed that there are now 2 leaders. Bakura Doro, 2021 to present, and Bakura Sa'alaba, 2021 to present also. Now we're getting into recruitment and social media presence. And this is one of the things that we talked a lot about in class, where we spent a module on a class, and that was how terrorist organizations often use social media now with technology becoming so advanced. They use social media to get their message out and recruit people who are trying to become radicalized. So Boko Haram, like many terrorist organizations, has often used social media such as Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, etc., to spread their propaganda. They usually post videos and quotes from the Quran, or even photos. They post things for many reasons. As I said, recruitment, hoping their ideology spreads to people who may once become radicalized and join their organization. They often post taking responsibility for attacks. They often post videos of them claiming they were the ones behind the attacks. And that was something that was seen with the schoolgirls kidnappings, because the leader, that was actually how he came out and said he was the one that was, Boko Haram was the one that was behind it, because he posted a video saying, it was us. And they also use social media for communications. And that's just whether it's to communicate through members or communicate with people on the outside world, that's how they do it. And now I'm getting into the media coverage for Boko Haram. Since the early 2000s, when Boko Haram was founded, they have been no stranger to media coverage, as so many media companies have covered them and their actions. The most famous companies that have covered them are CNN, Al Jazeera, New York Times, the Associated Press, BBC, and many, many more. Especially with the schoolgirl kidnapping, that's when they became really, a lot of media companies cover them after that. As stated earlier, one of Boko Haram's most covered attacks was the Chibok schoolgirls kidnappings, especially after First Lady Michelle Obama tweeted that photo of her in support of freeing the kidnapped women. It's brought a lot of attention towards the situation and gave the media around the world more of a reason to report it, making it national and world headlines often. As you can see, there's the photo again that Michelle Obama tweeted. And even over here, you can see there's a lot of celebrities. That's Sylvester Stallone from Rocky. All these people are just saying the same things, bring back our girls, and that's why it really took off as much as it did. as learned in this course, Boko Haram is mainly in the media because of how much of a threat they are to us as an audience. So it could be people in London, people in New York, people anywhere. Us as like the people who are reading the news articles. Examples that I found on the internet. Uh, these are the titles of the articles. Is Boko Haram a threat to U.S.? And that's a title from the CNN. And another one is Boko Haram emerging threat to U.S. homeland, and that's from the Associated Press. And the next one is Boko Haram's threat goes beyond Africa, and that was from Fox News. So you could just see how these media companies are trying to title these articles, just showing that it's a threat to everyone. So that's what draws people in. These media companies know that in order to get clicks, reactions, and engagement, they must make it seem as if the threat is towards the audience. This causes them to become intrigued and read the articles in order to learn more about the dangers that are coming to them. Yeah, as I stated, this is just something that we learned in this course, and I it's something that I never really thought about until this course. It's just really interesting how that's the way they do it. That's the way they draw interest in from people draw interest from their audience and their targeted audience. And that's it. These are my citations. As you can see right here, Parkinson and Hinshaw. I want to do this. How Michelle Obama joined a global campaign to bring our girls back. That was the Vanity Fair article I was talking about. So if you guys are interested, you guys should check that out because that was actually a really great read. It's an easy read too. It's not an easy read, but it's a lot simpler the way they broke it down. Because nothing about any of this is an easy read. This is all hard material because it's just hard to read stuff about this stuff. But I said that's the article about how Michelle Obama was really contemplating about whether or not she should send the tweet out. There are a bunch of other great articles here, especially the ones about social media, talking about how terrorist organizations use social media to recruit, communicate, and do all the things. And yeah, that's really it. I appreciate you guys for listening.